Okay, let's be real. The world of crypto, it can feel like the Wild West, right? Super confusing. It promises this whole new financial future, but where do you even start? Well, that's what we're here for. We're going to cut through all that noise and give you the absolute core principles for a safe, smart journey into digital assets. So let's kick things off by figuring out what makes this new financial era so revolutionary.
And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. We're not just talking about some new tech here. This is a fundamental shift. It's an opportunity that could give you way more control, more access, and more freedom over your own money than ever before. It's a huge, huge change.
That's the big question, isn't it? Because for every amazing success story you hear, there's another one about a hack, a scam, or just a really costly mistake. The whole point of this explainer is to hand you a map, a guide to help you sidestep those traps and build a really solid foundation for success.
All right, so let's start at square one. To really do well in crypto, you've got to first get your head around what makes it so fundamentally different from the money in your bank account. And it all boils down to two things: control and ownership.
And this right here, this really spells out the huge difference. On one hand, you've got traditional money, controlled by central banks, stuck with banking hours, the usual. But on the other side, you've got crypto. The big deal here is that it's decentralized. There's no one in charge, which means you get 24/7 global access. No more waiting for the bank to open. Plus, you control your data. And for some cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, there's a fixed supply. A lot of people believe that's a massive shield against inflation.
So this idea of decentralization leads to one of crypto's most powerful concepts: true digital ownership. See, when you own crypto the right way, you hold something called a private key. You can think of it like the ultimate password that gives you, and only you, total and complete control over your money. No bank can freeze it, no third party is needed. You are your own bank.
Okay, if you remember one thing, let it be this. Seriously, not your keys, not your coins. It's the #1 rule in crypto. See, if you leave your crypto on an exchange, you're basically just trusting them to hold it for you. But when you move it to your own personal wallet, you are the one in control of the keys. So just say it with me. If you control the keys, you control the coins. It's really that simple. But, and this is a big but, it also means that keeping those keys safe, that's 100% on you.
And of course, that responsibility is where people can get into trouble. They just dive in head first without a plan, get tempted by these crazy promises of instant riches, get swept up in the emotional roller coaster of fear and greed, or, they just forget to lock their digital front door. But don't worry, we're going to make sure you avoid all that.
So, before you even think about buying a single thing, you need to build your foundation. Having a solid plan is what makes the difference between a smart investor and a gambler, and it's your absolute best defense against all those pitfalls we just talked about. And here it is, a super simple 3-step plan. First up, you have to know your why. Are you in this for the long haul? What's your budget? Second, you have to make peace with the risk. The market is going to be volatile. Prices will swing like crazy. So the golden rule is, and always will be, only invest what you're genuinely okay with losing. And third, figure out your security plan. Which wallet are you going to use? Now, when it comes to wallets, you basically got two main flavors. Hot wallets are software. Think browser extensions or phone apps, and they're always online. Super convenient for trading, but a bit more vulnerable. Cold wallets, on the other hand, are physical devices, kind of like a little USB stick that you keep totally offline. They're built for maximum security, perfect for long-term savings. A lot of smart investors actually use both. A hot wallet for a little spending money and the cold wallet for the serious savings.
Okay, plans in place, foundation is built. Now we can get to the action. But just remember, the goal here isn't just to buy crypto. It's to buy it and store it safely. Security always comes before chasing profits.
The crypto world, and I hate to say it, is full of scammers. But the good news is they often use the same old tricks, so think of this as your built-in scam detector. Be super skeptical of anyone promising guaranteed profits. Ignore anyone trying to pressure you to act fast, and never, ever, ever give anyone your private keys or your seed phrase. That seed phrase is the master key to your entire wallet. No legitimate person or company will ever ask you for it, period.
And here it is, the one rule that will probably save you from 99% of all the traps out there. If some deal seems unbelievably good, it's because it isn't real. Just trust your gut. Patience and a healthy dose of skepticism are your absolute best friends in this space.
So we've nailed down how to protect your assets. Now let's talk about the fun part.
how to grow them intelligently. This isn't about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about building real wealth over time using strategies that actually work.
A key principle for any smart investor is diversification. You've heard it a million times. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is just a sample, but it shows a really balanced way to think about it. You've got your strong foundation in the blue chips like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then a chunk for projects that are pretty solid but still have room to grow. And finally, a small, speculative slice for those high-risk, high-reward moonshots. This kind of setup helps you manage risk while still giving you a shot at some big wins.
So, how do you invest without totally stressing out over the crazy price swings? The answer is a beautiful little strategy called dollar cost averaging, or DCA. It's so simple. You just invest a fixed amount of money on a regular schedule, like, say, $50 every single Friday. When the price is low, that $50 buys you more. When the price is high, it buys you less. Over time, it all averages out, and it completely takes the emotion and the guesswork out of investing. It's a game changer.
And this classic piece of wisdom just sums up the power of DCA perfectly. Trying to time the market, buying at the absolute bottom and selling at the absolute top, it's pretty much impossible. But by just being consistent and staying invested for the long term, you give your assets the time they need to grow, and you can ride out any storms along the way. And that brings us to our last and, honestly, most important section. All the tools and strategies are great, but what really separates the successful people in crypto from everyone else is their mindset. It's all about the habits and the discipline that you build over the long run.
And these 5 pillars right here, these are the habits that are going to carry you through. Always be learning. This space moves incredibly fast. Make saving and investing a consistent habit. Get absolutely obsessive about your security. Diversify your investments wisely. And maybe the hardest one of all, learn to stay calm, both when the market is going crazy high and when it's crashing. These are the habits that truly build lasting wealth.
Because at the end of the day, this whole journey is about so much more than just buying some digital coin. It's a mindset shift. It's about taking full ownership and full responsibility for your own financial future. And yeah, it takes discipline, it takes patience, and a real commitment to learning. So, the only question left is, are you ready to take control?